The basement room reeked of desperation. 4 women lay on stained foam pads, wrists chained to metal pipes, cloth gags covering their mouths. Their skeletal frames showed months of starvation, but their hair, impossibly long, cascading 15 feet across the concrete floor like black rivers, grew endlessly. This horrifying tableau greeted Amara each morning when she came to harvest, but it hadn't always been this way. Months earlier, Amara had been drowning in poverty in Lagos. Her small shop, Amara's Beauty Emporium, sold cheap synthetic hair to customers who haggled over every naira. She watched wealthy women glide past in luxury vehicles, wearing expensive human hair extensions that cost more than her monthly rent. She wanted that life desperately. The cars, the apartment, the status. Human hair was the answer, but legitimate suppliers charged impossibly high prices. After exhausting all options, Amara remembered village stories about powerful spiritual practitioners. She traveled to her ancestral home in Cross River State, where her grandmother connected her with an elderly woman who practiced ancient rituals. The practitioner offered a solution, a black liquid that would make anyone's hair grow supernaturally fast, providing unlimited supply. But there was a price. Amara could never have intimate relations with any man. If she broke this rule, the power would fade. A large ceremonial calabash, decorated with cowrie shells and red cloth, must remain in her room always, keeping the charm alive. If broken, everything would end. Amara didn't hesitate. She didn't care about love or marriage. Only money mattered. She told herself she'd only do this for a few months, just enough to build capital, then stop. She sold her few possessions and traveled to Cambodia, hiring a local translator to help recruit women from impoverished villages. She promised 4 desperate women, Sremao, Kuntia, Dara, and Sophia, $300 monthly wages plus housing in Nigeria. They trusted her completely. When they arrived in Lagos, Amara drove them to an isolated compound surrounded by tall fences. She gave them small bottles of the black liquid, claiming it was malaria prevention medicine. Within days, their hair began growing impossibly fast, several inches per day. But with the growth came excruciating headaches, weakness, and rapid weight loss. When the women demanded to go home, Amara drugged their food. They woke up chained in a basement, gagged and imprisoned. Every 3 days, Amara harvested their hair, cutting it close to their scalps. Within hours, it grew back completely, an endless supply. She processed the hair and sold it as premium extensions. Money flooded in. Within 3 months, she bought her dream car, a white Range Rover, moved to a luxury apartment and expanded her business. The few months she'd planned became 6 months, then longer. The money was too sweet. Greed consumed her. The 4 women deteriorated catastrophically, skeletal frames with skin stretched over bones, dying slowly while their perfect hair grew endlessly. Grace, Amara's assistant, noticed inconsistencies. Amara claimed to import hair, but Grace found no documentation. Yet identical bags of premium hair appeared weekly. Grace followed Amara to the hidden compound twice, seeing bags of hair and hearing muffled sounds through the fence. She knew something terrible was happening. Unable to sleep from moral torment, Grace went to the police. Though initially skeptical, they agreed to investigate. Then one Saturday night, everything collapsed. Amara attended an exclusive club party, drinking heavily, feeling she'd finally achieved her dreams. A handsome man approached, buying her drinks. They danced. Intoxicated beyond reason, Amara forgot everything. The condition, the calabash, the warning. That night, she went home with him, breaking the sacred rule.
The next morning, she woke alone and horrified. Rushing to check the compound, she discovered the woman's hair was growing slower, becoming thinner. The curse was failing. Panicked, she began planning to return to the village to beg the spiritual practitioner for help. But Grace's report had set events in motion. Early that morning, police raided the compound. They found 4 skeletal women chained in the basement, surrounded by 15 feet of hair each. Officers had never seen anything like it. Human trafficking mixed with something supernatural. Police arrested Amara at her apartment as she packed for the village. After hours of interrogation, she broke down completely, confessing everything: the spiritual practitioner, the charm, the calabash, the recruitment, the poisoning, the harvesting. She revealed that breaking the ceremonial calabash was the only way to free the women from the curse, but she refused to do it herself. If the calabash broke, all her curse-generated wealth would become meaningless. Her empire would collapse. Police took her back to her luxury apartment under armed guard. When asked where the calabash was, she pointed to her bedroom closet but wouldn't move towards it. Even arrested, even after everything, she couldn't let go of the power. The officers lost patience. They had seen those dying women in the basement. One slapped her across the face. Another slammed her against the wall. The unofficial beating continued. Not in any report, but happening nonetheless. They hit her until she collapsed on the floor, crying and begging them to stop. "Get up and break it," they commanded. "Break it now or we'll beat you until you can't stand." Amara crawled across her luxury apartment floor, face swollen, lip bleeding, completely broken. She reached into her closet and pulled out the large ceremonial calabash, dark earthenware decorated with cowrie shells and red fabric. Her hands trembled violently holding it. This was her wealth, her power, everything she'd wanted and sacrificed for. But she had no choice now. She lifted the calabash high and smashed it on the floor. It shattered into pieces, black liquid spilling across the expensive carpet, filling the room with the bitter herbs. In that moment, Amara felt the power leave her body, like a weight lifting from her chest. At the hospital, the 4 women slowly began responding to treatment. Amara was sentenced to 25 years in prison for human trafficking, kidnapping, and assault. In her cell, she had endless time to think about the spiritual practitioner's warning. Once you take power from darkness, you cannot easily give it back. She had thought she could control it, use it briefly, then walk away. But the power had controlled her. Greed had controlled her. She had become a monster without even realizing it.